Good morning, everybody. Welcome to a Wurlitzer Wednesday. This is the 22nd of April, in case you don't know the date. And again, we've got blue skies up here, absolutely fabulous. Now, my last two videos were focused on being mellow and calm and tranquil and content. So today's video, we're going to pick up the pace a little bit. Now, I made some notes because I thought you might want to know what Wurlitzer is, and it's W-U-R-L-I-T-Z-E-R. It's an organ, and it's where air is blown through pipes, each tuned to create different musical tones, and that creates the sound. There's various ranks and sets of pipes, and the air is forced into them when the valves are open, and then the organist plays different keys and stops pulling. If you've ever been like in a church or you've seen the church organ or on television, then you see them pulling out the stops and also using their feet as well. So there's many things they have to do. The original organ was built by Rudolf Wurlitzer's company, and that started in 1853 in New York. It cost about $50,000 at that time, 1853 for $50,000. Well, it's one of the few theatre organs still installed in their location in New York. There's a mighty Wurlitzer organ in the Tower Ballroom in Blackpool. It's worth a visit. Now, I'm not sure if this is going to work, but listen to this. This is a bit of it, and it's by John Boulder. Okay, I hope you heard that. That's John Boulder, or Boulder, B-O-W-D-L-E-R, and he's at the mighty Wurlitzer in the Tower Ballroom in Blackpool. Now, it's often called the golden voiced organ. It's not just an example of multitasking in the extreme, but the power and strength of the sound is stunning, carrying it around a huge theatre or hall. Thousands of these massive or gigantic pipe organs were installed in movie theatres. And in fact, an old neighbour, he used to actually play the organ it was for the silent movies. And I used to be enthralled by his stories. He'd go to the movie theatre, and a silent movie it could be of any genre. It could be sad, it could be happy, it could be anything. And he had to play along with this. And a no mean feat, really, when you think about it. So they were not just multitasking, but he was able to adapt to whatever the film or the movie that was being played. And with the speed of the movies, he had to change from maybe emotional and sad to really exciting. And he used to play some things to me on the piano that he would do, and it was just stunning. So although my focus is and always has been on being positive and using laughter as your best medicine, this does not mean that you ignore the pain and suffering that others are experiencing. So you've got to remember that when your own mental and emotional health is strong, you have much more to give to others and to contribute to society as a whole. So we need to stop believing also that we have rights. I often talk about this, but we seem to have forgotten that with rights come responsibilities and accountability. So if everyone starts thinking this and knowing that although they have rights, that comes with responsibilities and accountability, then we can grow stronger. And when this is over, we would be a better society if we thought that way. So why Wurlitzer for today? Well, I have to thank, I will name her, not the full name, it's Margaret. I have to thank Margaret for, she chose this title, and she was a democratic process. She came out of a hat, and there we are, it was Wurlitzer. And I thought, oh, right, what do I do with this? So today, I'm going to ask you to be mighty and strong, but also flexible and able to multitask while remaining calm. Now, my being strong, I'm just going to lift what I've got here. My hair is driving me mad. I have been trying to grow out the fringe for many months, and we've got the scissors in hand. So I have to be strong and put these scissors aside, or we'll end with another Frexit moment when I cut the awful fringe 2 or 3 years ago during Brexit. Gave everybody a laugh anyway. Don't know about me, but anyway, it took a while to grow out, and it's still not quite growing out. I've got to pin it back or it gets in my eyes. Really annoying. Anyway, so the first tip that I've got to do is kind of follow on from yesterday, but it's patience. Now, we really are, it's something that I think many of us are not good at. We're all impatient, and we need to be patient just now. And when you're told to be patient often, that actually even riles you up, and it's got the opposite effect. You find yourself, you can get really even more stress. What do you feel when people go, oh, calm down, or be patient? Actually, that gets you really, it can get you really angry. So it's a time when you should be calm, but you actually want to scream at them. So we need to learn actually that not to get as stressed. It's very difficult. And when you're frazzled and really stressed, your emotions won't let you calm down. So it can be very difficult. I bet many of you were in a permanent state of kind of rushing around before this pandemic forced us into self-isolation and social distancing. We were running about, picking children up from school, getting to the office in time, when will we get up, blah, 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 and it's just going on and on and on. It's just horrendous. So now we've got to kind of look at this pandemic, the isolation, we're inside. We have to look at it in a positive way. You actually now have time to be patient, to be strong, to stop being stressed and getting into a frenzy, because it's just not going to let all this go away quickly. And we've been told that if we just follow the rules and stay inside and be strong, stay locked down, the quicker we will be out of it. So when you have patience, you actually will be less overwhelmed, less annoyed, less irritable, and less stressed. Now surely who wouldn't want that? So when you're impatient as well, your attention will be focused on far too many things, too many jobs. How am I going to do this? So I've got the dinner to make, or I've got these jobs I've got to do for the office, or, you get yourself completely overloaded with information. And this just results in your attention span being shorter. Now, when you don't focus, and I love my FA, if you've all been listening in, you will know my FA does not stand for F all, it stands for full attention. So you need to give full attention on each job you do. Even if it's a small thing, you need to fully attend to that one thing, and then you'll get less stressed, and you'll either end up not doing that job very well. If you don't give it your full attention, you'll not do that job very well. You'll maybe not even finish it, and you'll make mistakes. So to be really productive in anything you do, you need to focus and attend. Now, a small attention of this was, I was thinking about emails. We'll be doing lots of emails, and of course I know when technology started and we had to send, instead of letters, it was emails. I remember, and I still do it actually, I miss attachments. Have you ever sent an email and you think, oh, I forgot to attach that document that I was supposed to attach? So it's kind of, I now put myself through this. If I'm going to write it, I respond to an email, I take out the address, because you'll always get a message saying you need at least one recipient, and that gives you time to look, have you put the attachment in, have you looked at, just reviewed the email. Because another thing about texts and emails, not just having errors, but have you ever got one and it's irritated you and you think, and you've misinterpreted it, or misinterpreted the tone of it because you haven't heard the person's voice. I remember on one occasion, and I had connected with this chap, a senior health and safety director, and I remember we got on very, very well, and I had to put in an email, I had to contribute to something, and he came back and the email just went fine. And of course I immediately thought, how curt, how rude is that, Now, instead of getting worked up, what I did was I lifted the phone. Fortunately, I had his telephone number, but I lifted the telephone and I said, I got your email, have I done something wrong? Whereupon he said, no, I didn't have time to write a huge email. It just meant, fine, go ahead with the project. So it was interesting. I think if you do, instead of letting things fester and getting sort of worked up with yourself, I'm a great believer in lifting the phone. You hear the voice, you hear a different tone, and even if it's somebody you don't know very well, we've got somebody, I'm working with someone just now who's quite new, and the emails that they were sending were quite long, giving me lots of information, didn't give me the flavour of him, and I thought, I'm just going to lift the phone and introduce myself. And he was thankful, and so was I. And of course, we've now got this kind of really good rapport. So in business and with friends, it's the rapport that is really sort of necessary. So I think it's important that you look at that. And of course, in everything you do, you can get into a bit of a frenzy and you get flustered. So when you do that, that impacts on your mental health. But actually, people don't realise that if you're impacting on your mental health, it can actually impact on your physical health. And it can actually lead to heart attacks. So just take a moment to think about what you won't get done if you're not here. So patience does not mean that you need to stop working at speed. That's the kind of confusing thing. People think, if I have to be patient, I've got to slow down. No, it doesn't mean that. It means you create your own speed. You think about what you're doing before you take action. In fact, there was a basketball coach gave this advice to his team. He said, be quick, but don't hurry. So it's a kind of bit of a misnomer. It sounds crazy, but it means that you need to plan, you need to think about what you're doing, because if you hurry, you will make mistakes. It turns on that stress response, which interprets your hurry as urgency. And of course, is it really an urgent thing? Is it really urgent? So in fact, you have to ask yourself, is it false urgency? So why would you want to stress yourself out? You need to ask yourself, do you need to run around at this top speed, get yourself stressed? And is it a real emergency? I think, of course, that, and we've probably been there actually, we've been in situations where within organisations, you see people running around and they've got this bit of paper. Because when you're running around and you've got a bit of paper or a folder under your arm, what happens? You look busy. But are they really busy? And do you want to do that to yourself? You really don't want to be stressed out. So the key is focus. Focus on one thing at a time and on the present. So if you do this, you're more likely to get things done better. You actually will remember things longer and you will be happier. So you'll also be more efficient, of course, and more productive. And is that not what your employers will be wanting just now if you're somebody working from home remotely? I know that there are some employers want people to work their 9 to 5. Now, I think that's being a bit inflexible because people who are working from home just now don't have the daycare, they don't have the childcare. So they've got children or babies crying, children crawling all over the laptops. So I know that where the decision makers can be flexible, they can allow these employees to be productive when they can be productive, which can help. So instead of getting frazzled during the day, trying to do a million things at once, it allows you to concentrate maybe on the children. And just on that point, I was thinking, this is Earth Day. And I was looking at, I think children are back to school, so lots of parents, grandparents, or whoever, carers of the children will be going right down to schoolwork, and you need to be doing this. Why not take a minute or two today to look at nature? Think of the bees, think of the pollen, think of anything to do with nature. And in fact, I think David Attenborough, you could have the children looking at some nature documentaries. Documentaries? God, I'm losing the will to have my words out here. so it's your documentaries. I think David Attenborough, to me, that's the go-to person to look at these sort of things. So have them look at that, and then maybe think about what they've looked at, and do drawings if they can't do big essays, drawings, and I think that would really raise their spirits as well. So when you're working at home, I was thinking the other day that people who are working for an organisation will still have their deadlines, but I think that you, even if you're not, you'll be setting your own deadlines, and it's a bit like the lists. People set unrealistic deadlines and make unrealistic lists. So just pull yourself back when you're thinking about deadlines, because if you do have a set yourself unrealistic deadlines, unrealistic lists, you just end up getting angry with yourself. And of course, I think I've said this before, that I'm a list maker, but I don't get worked up if I don't go through my 100 things on that list. I think it's this need to maybe write things down so I know it's my plan. But if I only get 2 things on that list done, then at night I go, do you know what? Praise myself. These were the 2 things I was meant to get done. So it can really draw you back and you feel better about yourself. And remember, being patient is within your control. And why? Because you have choices. You can make these choices. So you can decide, take a break, manage your time a bit better, focus your FA, your full attention on one task at a time. So remember, like the Wurlitzer, you can still be strong, you can still really make a beautiful sound for yourself, and make your life feel a bit better. And although it's multitasking at your pace. So instead of taking kind of multitasking the way the player of the organ would be doing, because they have to do that, you can take control over what you do. And therefore, you can take control and calm your mind. So today, as always, I end with my ABC core techniques, and I thought that we would do one that would make you mighty and strong, or feel mighty and strong like the Wurlitzer, but also flexible. So we just go into our usual, if you're sitting nice and calmly and your feet on the ground, like Earth Day, ground yourself with your feet on the ground. Sit up straight, your shoulders back, because you always feel better. You feel more confident. And although people might think slumping is relaxed, it's not. You actually need to pull your shoulders back and you feel much better about yourself. And then we take, as usual, our 2 or 3 deep breaths, 1 deep breath if you like. But what happens with this one is, I call this one the beach and horizon. And this, my Mind Bites meditation, is very effective in helping you to face challenges with confidence and strength. So you can, if you do this meditation, you find yourself not only having the confidence, but the calmness that you can then turn these challenges that you face into opportunities. So let's just sit calmly and close our eyes. And I'm going to close mine as well, and take a deep breath in through the nose. Remember, it's the diaphragmatic breathing. It's from your tummy, not from your shoulders, because you get much more energy into your body. So we breathe in through the nose to the count of 3, hold to the count of 3, and then exhale. So let's try that. Hold, and then exhale. Take another deep breath in, hold, and then exhale. Now imagine you are walking on golden sand, stretching far into the distance. You feel free. Space is all around you. You can see as far as the horizon. There is only this peaceful scene. The sand, the sea, and the open space. You feel confident. You feel free. You know you can move forward with a sense of purpose. You can sense the freedom. Now take a deep breath in through the nose. Hold and then exhale. As you breathe in, feel the fresh air and freedom flow through your body, filling you with confidence and strength. Slowly breathe in again and then exhale. Slowly open your eyes and then say to yourself, I am strong. I feel free. I am positive. I know I can face any challenges with confidence, strength, and purpose. And I can turn these challenges into opportunities. And then after you do any sort of meditation, kind of shake your shoulders and just let yourself relax, or even stretch and a big yawn. And then it just brings the whole meditation and the feeling of calmness and strength together. Now, before I finish today, I hope you've enjoyed that. I haven't got any titles for tomorrow, so if people want to put in a nice positive title for Thursday, I think we've had Thankful Thursday, not sure, maybe Talent Thursday. Anyway, if you can think of a nice positive title, and I'll try and put my mind to what I'm going to say, then I'd be really delighted to do that. And of course, the winner will get an hour, a virtual hour of my time, just so it's not misinterpreted as getting an hour of me. You will get a virtual hour of my time, and you can talk about anything you like, and it's all confidential, remember, so just between you and me, and be delighted to do that for you. Now, lastly, and it's really a major thing, remember, never be afraid to seek professional help. And I'm delighted by, and I will say his name, Dave, a really good Irish friend, lovely person that is so positive, and he posts up positive posts, and it's fabulous. And he was reminding people today of this, so I'm going to say it again. If you're feeling my tips, my ABC core techniques help, but if you're really feeling overwhelmed, overly sad, depressed, anything that you feel is bringing you down, then remember, it is not a stigma to have mental health problems, and you need to seek professional help. I know that you maybe have a waiting list and it can be difficult, but remember, the power of the mind is staggering. And just as I want you to use your mind in a positive way, because it's so powerful, we can have negative thoughts just invade our mind and they can bring us down. So I hope that you don't have that, but if you do, seek professional help. And if you're on a waiting list or you really are struggling, please use my ABC core techniques. They really are, they're proven psychological techniques. They're based on CBT, NLP, mindfulness. They are simple and easy to do, but you've got to do them regularly for them to be effective. And remember the affirmations. A is for affirmations. Your 3 P's, remember. I know I keep a broken record, but your P for personal, that's the I. P for positive, and that's the word, I'm strong. And the verb has to be present tense. Like athletes, as I've said before, they don't go, oh, I think I might win that gold medal next year. They actually say, I have that gold medal. They're holding it. They can visualize that, imagine themselves holding it. And then B for breathing, It's got to be effective breathing, remember, from the diaphragm. And I think I did post up a video on how to breathe effectively. There's lots of different techniques in breathing, but when you breathe from the tummy, it brings energy into the body, and that's what you need. And of course, it stops anger. Take 3 deep breaths. When you're breathing that way, you can't get angry, you can't get upset with yourself or anyone else. And C is for creative imagination, and that is use your mind creatively. Close your eyes. It can just take you to a different place, and you can go, whether it's your beach and horizon, use that meditation and you can take yourself off to somewhere that you feel free, but you feel strong. And of course, finally, I always say, smile and laugh. Laughter is the best medicine. It's been great having people listening. Thank you, people. I can see a few people listening, and I'll clock in with you tomorrow. So remember, titles, people, post them up or private message me. Have a great day, and onwards and upwards. Thank you.